Hello, my beautiful guys, girls, gays, and theys, and welcome back to I Said What I Said! Yay! Yay! Another episode, welcome back! Okay, I have two things to say to begin with, right? The song of the week this week is Eusexua by Fuck a Twig. FKA Twigs, okay? But my friends and I call her Fuck a Twig because it's FKA and it's like funny. Yeah, she's amazing. She's a conceptual icon and I love her. And whatever Robert Pattinson did to her, I will never forgive you because she's such an icon and Eusexua is an amazing song. And go and listen to it. Go watch the music video. It's like 8 minutes long and it's just pure art. She takes Office Siren to like the next level. So go watch that. Another thing I want to say is what happened to me on the train on the way here because it was so random and it was like so brief, but it impacted me. So I thought we'd speak about it. Basically, all of the Northern Line trains, like Morden via Bank, were like really delayed. So I had to get a Charing Cross train and I get on the Charing Cross train and get off at Camden to switch to a Bank train because usually there's more Bank trains at Camden for some reason because they have a separate platform. So I get off the train, I'm waiting for the next Bank train. This guy comes up to me and taps my shoulder. I'm like, oh, hello, tapping my shoulder. What are you doing? So I turn around and he mumbles something. I have my headphones in so I can't hear him. So I go, huh? And he mumbles something again. So I take my headphones out. I'm like, what did you say? He goes, can I have your number? And I was like, me? He was like, yeah. And I was like, why? And he was like, don't worry. Okay, sorry, bye, sorry. And then he ran away. I don't know if it was partially my fault because I did say to him, why? Like, why else would you want my number? Like, it's kind of obvious, you know what I mean? But like, I stepped out of the house today feeling that I didn't look that good. So that experience really helped. And speaking of looking good, it's London Fashion Week at the moment. It's a very busy time in the epicenter of culture in London, okay? And I don't know when this episode is being released, so it's probably not London Fashion Week by the time this episode releases, but in current time, in current reality, as I'm speaking right now, it's London Fashion Week. And I attended a few events and I wanted to just speak about something that's been on my mind, really. I have my notes app today. Like, not notes app, I actually have a whole document filled to the brim with topics of discussion. And I thought, what more of an appropriate time to discuss the invasion, the infiltration, truly the apocalypse of London fashion boys. If you live in London, you must be aware of this, and you're probably not new to the London fashion boy apocalypse. But if you don't, I'm going to provide some context, okay? We're going to do a little bit of a mental Venn diagram here. This is the best way I could describe what a London fashion boy is. So on your left side, okay, left side of the Venn diagram, the first circle, we have attractive guys, okay? Your classic Jacob Elordi wannabe, indie sleaze, boy in a band that does gigs in Camden, sharp jawline guys and nerdy guys, but also with a sleeper build, okay? So that's just your classic attractive guys. That's on my left side. Then we've got my right side, the right circle, okay? That's where we have fashion boys, okay? So micro influencers, broke models, guys that will text you what you're doing at 3 a.m., and Playboy Carti obsessions and Stussy warriors, okay? So think about these two circles, right? We've got attractive guys and then fashion boys, okay? Now, somewhere in the middle in our Venn diagram, these two little cultures meet, okay? And they create this hybrid, a little fuck off monster that I like to call a London fashion boy apocalypse. So it's when you mix an attractive man with a man that thinks he has style, and it creates a being of existence that's dangerous, that is worrying, and must be stopped. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back. Not all of them have to be stopped, but if you live in London and tend to hang out around Soho, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Guys, I dressed the part today, okay? I'm wearing a vintage Bape tee. and I'm wearing Bape stars, if you can see. Okay, like I'm wearing Bape today. Like I'm trying to be a London fashion boy, but I'm a girl, so it's cute. Do you know what I mean? I'm telling you about this intersection, okay, that I've just created through our Venn diagram. And, it's annoying to say, but the majority of these London fashion boys are pricks. Not all of them, but the majority of them. Like, I'm going to put them into one category. I don't care because I've dealt with so many in my life. So I feel like I have enough experience and knowledge of like living in London my whole life to speak upon this topic. Okay. Also, being an influencer that has chilled with other fashion boy influencers before. And it's a crazy, crazy, crazy place. Okay. So the question you're probably wondering is, how did this begin? Where did it come from? Did they just spawn quite literally out of nowhere? And quite literally they did. I feel like it all kind of started around a year ago, 2 years ago, when like just London fashion in general was just like popping off on like TikTok, like Instagram Reels, that kind of thing. And I feel as though now more than ever, we notice in London this influx of streetwear and high fashion creating this little baby that is dangerous to social media. As much as I love it, it is a crazy thing. And don't get me wrong, I've fallen into this trap many times. Like every time I go to Soho, I almost always end up buying like some vintage Bape or Stussy tee for like 100 quid. Why do I do it? I don't know. Do I feel compelled to do it every time I go? Yes. That's what I kind of wanted to unpack today in regards and in context to the cult leaders that kind of run this shit. Soho is really the epicenter of this subgenre of London, okay? And I want to kind of discuss the main goal of a London fashion boy. You've seen them on your Instagram. You've seen them on your Hinge. You've seen them on TikTok. You're not new to them. And we have to admit it. You've seen that one guy fluffing out his Uniqlo jeans to make them look wider over and over and over again. And honestly, it's so cringe, but like, it's fine because you do you, I guess. But the main goals centers around a few things, okay? We have aesthetic photos, number one. That's like a really important factor. They are always photo ready. There is never a moment of their day that goes by where they're not ready to be snapped. Paparazzi. Oh, I'm gonna get a photo here. Oh my god. Wait, I'm in like a really cute street that has like cobblestones and stuff like that. I've got to take a photo. Okay. They are always Instagram aesthetic photo ready. Okay. And then we have standing aimlessly in the street. This is a big one. I feel like all of the London fashion boys I know or have visually seen while being out and about in London are never actually inside. They're always outside on the street. Like they own the street. It's crazy. And then we also have the occasional 5'3" girl or under that just follows them around to make them all look taller. Don't get me wrong, I know a few of these girls and they're usually really sweet. And you know what? I actually fuck with them because like if I was that short, if I was like a short, cute, fashion-y girly, like yeah, I would hang around with a bunch of London fashion boys and make myself look hot and make them look hotter. Like I feel like that's, I kind of understand from the women's perspective, but from the male perspective, it pisses me off. And then also a random cup of coffee that they don't ever drink, typically from Blank Street or Café Lion d'Or, which is in Soho, where a lot of the fashion boys reside. The cup of coffee that they don't ever actually drink, that's just always in their hand from Blank Street or Café Lion d'Or. And it's a group of people. There's never just one, okay? There's always a group of them. I've never seen just one lone fashion boy. Do you know what I mean? Like they always exist. They like to be in packs in their natural habitat, which is Soho. I'll tell you the main areas. If you want to see this for yourself, if you want to go and visualize what I'm talking about right now, go down to Soho. I'm going to tell you the places to go. Go to Dunno Curated. Just wait outside the store. It's a vintage store, okay? Go to the Blue Post, which is a pub. Go to House Party, Stormzy's House Party, but never go inside. Just wait outside. You will see them. End, which is a like a hype wear, like a street fashion like store in Soho. And then lastly, My Place, which is a pub in Soho. But I will say, right, you will never catch any of these guys out of this circumference ever. They don't exist outside of that circumference. You know what? It's like they almost get zapped by this impenetrable force field that will destroy them unless they're wearing the most cuntiest fit. What I find most crazy about the location and then what they all do is how it like crosses paths with pub culture. So yeah, that's kind of where they reside. And I tend to be in that area a lot because I have a lot of friends that live around there. And then annoyingly, the fun places to be are around that area. So that in my life, like the fashion boy apocalypse is unavoidable. Like for the past like 2 years, I've never been able to like go out and not see the same faces over and over again. That's the thing, is that they're the same faces, but it's different fonts. Do you know what I mean? It's this copy and paste type of content that is going on within this like whole niche of London, of like fashion people and men in general. Because the thing is, I think there's such a different expectation when it comes to fashion for women and fashion for men. Obviously, there is no gender or binary confirming things with fashion. Like, technically, right now, all of the clothes that I am wearing are from the men's section in stores that I got them from. But there's no gender to clothing, okay? But when it comes to social media and stereotypes and perception, I almost feel as though we congratulate some of these guys for just putting some clothes on. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was scrolling through my Instagram reels recently and I saw this one guy. I didn't even follow him, but he's like always turning up on my reels, and he's like a fashion-y boy. Like, he lives in London. Like, yeah, he's wearing like the Adidas Sambas, like the cheetah print ones and all of that kind of stuff. And he's like putting together an outfit, and it's basically just a pair of like baggy gray jeans, like an oversized button-up shirt from like Ralph Lauren, and like a heavy chain and like a few rings. And then the comments are like, OMG, you ate. You ate that shit up. Oh my God, no, you look so good. You look so good. What? What? What do you mean? Is it literally just a button-up shirt, a pair of jeans and sambas? What are you doing? What do you mean? This is the thing. It's like, I feel like we're providing these people too much power for the minimal amount of effort that is actually going into it, okay? And that kind of brings me back to like the whole mysterious vibe of these fashion boys as well. Like, they will say that they hate social media, and you know, I'm just like, I don't know, like it just never agreed with me, and like I kind of keep it low key on social media. No, you don't. Why are you bringing around a ring light with you everywhere you go? Explain that. What is that about? Why do you have the newest iPhone every single time? Because you want to get that 0.5 camera lens? Huh? What's the real tea going on here? Because no, you love it, and that's the thing. And I actually had a personal experience with, let's just say, a cult leader of London fashion boys. I'm not going to say his name. You may be wondering, like, why are you so heated, Loulou? Like, why is this making you mad? Like, and it's not making me mad. It's just always been on my mind. And that's because we know that I chat to a few guys, as I do, and that's fine, and that's normal, and I'm a girl, and that's fine, and I'm allowed to chat to whoever I want. But don't get me wrong, I've chatted to the wrong guys before, and that's when I have experiences that I can share with you, okay? I don't know if the guy that I am talking about will be watching this right now. If you think it's you, it's probably not you. That's all I'm gonna say. Love you. I would say he's kind of like a cult leader. Like, everyone kind of knows him. He's really fucking attractive. Like, he's tall as fuck. And he has great fashion. I'll give him that. He does have good fashion. And I feel like he's doing well for himself. But boy, oh boy, Jesus Christ, have I never, ever, ever in my life met a man that has a bigger ego. Like, in my life. It's crazy. It is crazy. It's crazy. Okay? Like, honestly, something comes out of me. The man inside me comes out of me when I think about the kind of stuff that this man has said to me. And he's the one obsessed with me. But that brings me to another thing, is that a lot of these like fashion-y boys are just DL chasers. If you don't know what that means, it just means a down low guy that chases trans girls and doesn't tell anyone. That fetishizes trans girls. Okay, I get it. I'm hot. I'm cute. I'm stunning. I'm funny. And you want me. You're weird. And I'll tell you why. Let's call him Pineapple. Pineapple, I found on Hinge. He'd sent me a rose. And I was like, oh, a rose from this really, really, really attractive man that has amazing style and is like 6'3" and, looks really cool. And I was like, okay, great. This is fun. This is fresh. So I obviously match with him and like we get talking and we seem to get along really well. So we, add each other on the other socials. But then he tells me that, oh shit, I actually can't follow you on Instagram. What? What do you mean? What do you mean you can't follow me on Instagram? Why can't you follow me on Instagram? And he's like, oh, I don't know, like just add me on Snap. I'm like, okay, but like what's wrong with like following each other on Instagram? Like, don't you want to see what I'm doing? Like I can see what you're doing too. And he's like, no, like I'm not really about that. Like if I chat to girls, like I'm not really gonna like follow them on Instagram, aren't I? I'm like, what? What do you mean? Are you embarrassed? What's the issue? Why won't you follow me on Instagram? And we had this whole argument about it. And I was just like this is after speaking for like a couple of weeks, by the way. So like we'd gotten a bit comfortable with each other. I was just like confused and I kind of just like gave up on it. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to bother like forcing you to follow me on Instagram. You don't have to follow me on Instagram. Like who cares? It's not that deep, right? But it just weirded me out at first. And I feel like that was the first red flag that I should have noticed because I consistently spoke to this guy for about 4 months. And the way that this man would speak to me was insane. I've never had that much disrespect in my life. Not only that, but also just like there is clearly one thing that you want. And if you don't get that one thing, then you will be extremely rude. Like this man was begging me to like see him like at like 3 a.m. in the night and like like it was weird. It was weird. Like he was like booking hotels and like all of this kind of stuff and like he was like, oh yeah, like I've booked a hotel tonight with like some of my mates, like you should like turn up, like I can't lie, like it's gonna be like fun, like it's gonna be fun, like you should turn up. Like bro, no, it's fucking 2 a.m. I'm in bed. I have my Sour Patch Kids next to me and a hot chocolate. Why would I want to go to the Nobu in Shoreditch? I've been there before with my own money. I don't need you. And he's weird. And he would like swipe up from my stories on like Snapchat and okay, I don't know if this is TMI, but I'm gonna say it anyway, okay? He'd like swipe up from my stories on Snapchat and be like, yeah, this is cute, but take the top off. Excuse me? What did you say? Take the top off? Girl, boy, pipe down, okay? No. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? And he'd also call me at random ass times, like bell me like 5 times in a row, like until I answered. It was just disappointing because so many people, like if you go to this guy's comments, it's just flooded with girls being like, this is the type of man I need. This is what I deserve. Like, why can't my man dress like this? Why can't my man look like this? He sounds so sweet. Like he really cares about like sustainability. Fuck off. No, he doesn't. He doesn't care about sustainability. Are you joking? He's just doing it for a brand deal. I slowly started to get more and more repelled from this guy. And I realized that the only reason why I was going back because I thought, oh, this is like the most attractive man I'll ever speak to. And I think personally, as like a trans girl in particular, like there is that kind of derealization with oneself when you're trans that like when the most attractive looking guy like speaks to you and you're like, oh, this is the best I'm ever gonna get looks wise. Don't get me wrong, I'm not all about looks. It is a big part for me, unfortunately, because I am a bit shallow in that sense. But like, I do care about personality, and his personality was fucking trash. And it took me a while to like realize, oh my god, like this guy is a complete dickhead. Like I can't speak to this guy. I don't know what I'm doing with myself doing this. And then I kind of just started airing his messages. And he'd still message me, like he'd still like, swipe up from my stories, like message me, what are you doing? At 3 a.m. What do you think I'm doing? What What do you think I'm doing? Nothing. I'm in bed. I'm in bed. I'm watching Jake and Johnny. Okay, my true lovers. My true lovers. If you don't watch Jake and Johnny, you should. They're really funny. It really, 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 really upset me because it was just like, wow, I'm being so incredibly used here for like just like the way I look and like all of this kind of stuff. And this guy is really horrible. Like he's really horrible. Like if he messaged me be like come over and I'd be like no, he'd be like okay, bye then, stupid slut. What did you say? What did you say? I'm like I say to him, what? He goes, didn't want you to come over anyway. Bro, take a look at yourself and listen, you know what? Maybe I am a bit salty. I was like, listen, I wasn't even in a relationship with this guy. I wouldn't even call it a situationship. I was speaking to other guys at the same time as speaking to him. And he thought he was mad special. Mad special. No. No. Unfortunately not. Sorry for you. So yeah, that's kind of my story time with this guy. And like, you know what? Do you want to know what he last messaged me? Now he's really going to know who he is if he's watching this. But you know what? You don't even follow me on Instagram, so you don't even know this is a thing. Yeah, I've left him undelivered for 3 days, and he has said, "What you doing?" WYD. Do you know what time that was? 3:23 a.m. Leave me alone. I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want to know you. You're hot, but that's it. So bye. And this like kind of brings me to like, why do we keep going back to these types of guys that like actually are dickheads? And you know, like, listen, I don't speak on all of the London fashion boys because like I actually have a really close friend who is dating like a London fashion boy, and he's the sweetest guy ever. Like there's no problems with him, right? They're not all bad. It's you're either a London fashion boy that's extremely humble, or you're a London fashion boy that is pretentious, egotistical piece of shit. There's no in between. Sorry about it. No in between. If you find an in between, wow, that's crazy. It doesn't exist. I've never seen it in my life in like the 20 years that I've been on the planet. Okay. I think that kind of like humble and then the egotistical situation like originates from two different things. Like these fashion boys that are either like Nepo babies or like daddy's money or self-made. The self-made ones tend to be more humble. Like the ones that actually like are interested seriously in fashion and aren't just like hot and famous for no reason. That's the thing that I find irritating. Like, do you know what's funny? I was literally in Soho a few days ago. I'm probably going to be in Soho tonight. That's the truth. We're gonna be honest with ourselves here. But I was in Soho a couple nights ago with my friend Sasha. We were walking around and we go past the Stussy store, and there's always a queue outside the Stussy store, like the same as the Supreme store. And there was, I kid you not, a gaggle. What is like what do you call like a hide of sheep? Is that what they're called? A herd, not a hide. Anyways, I kid you not, a herd of sheep. But it was around like 7 13-year-old boys dripped out, dripped the fuck out in like Comme des Garçons, Chrome Heart, Stussy, Bape. Like I was like, oh my god. Where are you getting the money from? You're not like legally able to work. Like where are you getting the money from? Go buy a calculator. Buy a calculator. Your GCSEs are next year. You don't have time. You do not have time to be worrying about the next Supreme drop. You don't have time. No one cares. Literally no one cares. And that's the thing. It's getting younger and younger. Like it concerns me. Because as a person who has like had friendships or still has friendships or even more like romantic relationships and stuff like that with London fashion boys, if they're that like dickheady at like the age of what, like 20 to 25, like, and these kids are doing this at like 13, when they grow up, they're going to be scary. And we either stop it now or we do nothing about it and see what happens. But can't lie, I kind of want to do nothing about it and see what happens because like I do like to watch the fire burn and not be involved in it. So that's what is probably going to happen because it won't stop, unfortunately. Mass consumption is crazy. And that kind of leads me on to one of my favorite segments of our podcast, which is the confession booth. I put on my story on Instagram, it's confession time. What's your opinions on influencer fashion boys? I want the tea, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I had quite a lot of responses this time, which is really fun and exciting. And I wanted to read them through. So we've got, I like the ones that are actually being creative, but a lot of them are just standing there shirtless. Period. And why are we clapping for that? Like, yeah, you've got a cute little upside down triangle body and like the V lines on your waist, but like, so do I. Okay. Wisdom K is an icon. I agree. He's so cool. He's so cool. See, that's the type, but he's in LA. It's different. Elitists, when most of them just be biting other people's style without knowing about the origin. See, that's that kind of like how quickly trend culture happens, isn't it? Like something will be trending like heavily for so long, and then all of a sudden it will be like dead and it will all just disappear. Like it's crazy. Vanity muscles, bad fashion choices, and they're all actually under 6 foot. Boys is the right wording, not men. Ooh, someone's mad. Someone's mad. Majority of the time, it's just a hoodie or a tee with a crappily printed logo on it for an extortionate amount of money. Have I fallen into that trap? Yes. Am I wearing one right now? Yes. I think that's enough confessions for today. That's kind of my opinion on the London fashion boy apocalypse. I hope you understand my perspective and understand where I'm coming from and like just how I feel about it all. Listen, not all of you are bad. And I'm sure there's going to be a few of you that are watching this. I don't want to criticize you, but I am heavily criticizing you for what you do. So yeah, that's the tea. And love you all. And thank you for tuning into I Said What I Said this week. Thank you so much, my lovely, lovely humans, for tuning in today. And I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. I enjoyed it because I felt like I was just speaking from the heart and I was saying my personal truth as a Londoner that lives in London that deals with this every day. So I love you all and have an amazing rest of your day, evening, morning, whatever you're doing. And tune in next time to I Said What I Said. That's all for today.